That's all good. You guys know the cast. How's everyone doing? Hey, Jane Else. How's it going? How's everyone's Tuesday? Oh. So awkward to sit on the stool. All right. Great. Jane Else, were you here to check out the last tape stream? If not, I think I'm going to do a recap anyway. You missed it. That's okay. Well, obviously this isn't going to be a normal Everything Now show episode. It's just me. But we're listening to old reel-to-reel tapes that I got with this reel-to-reel tape machine. I bought it from a guy who got it from an estate sale, and he gave me like 20 or so reel-to-reel tapes that most of them are around the late 50s. Like so. And last time when we were listening, we caught a couple interesting tapes. One was a tape from a speaker at, I think it was a night school or a college, and it was a guy who was speaking about the benefits of AA and telling about his story. We also listened to some hypnotism. Some notes on hypnotism to quit smoking and quit eating bad. And we listened to some personal tapes that I assumed were from the family that these tapes came from. And one of them was an argument that the parents had with their kid, their son Dave, I think, about how he needed to stop going out late at night, and he could only go out on Fridays and Saturdays, and he was very argumentative about it. But hey, Jones, congrats on the pup. She's so cute. What's her name? The hypnotism did work. I don't smoke anymore, and I'm fit as hell, so it worked wonders. Yeah, the family tape was nuts. I'm trying to organize these tapes so we don't listen to one that we haven't already listened to. Mashka? Mushi for short? That's so cute. I love that name. Yeah, it was probably the hypnosis. The hypnosis was something else. Okay. So, got some tapes here. We can either do a vote or I'll just say them out loud. I don't know if enough people are in here to vote, but... Looks like a music one. Did you quit specifically for the dog, Jones? Or are you just kidding? A lot of music ones. I want to get into more of the juicier stuff. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. So I pulled out a couple tapes here. We have, yeah, and me not kidding. That's good. Good for you to quit. All right, so I guess most of the ones I think I pulled out are music. The first one I pulled out is Taboo. It says Taboo by Arthur Lehman. 7.5. Taboo, Kahlua, Ringo, Owake, Sea Breeze. I assume it's kind of like island tunes. I also got this camera set up so you guys can see a better view. Oh, it actually focuses. Look at that. So I think that's music. We also have Latin Lace, George Shearing. Come on, you got it. You were doing so good. There we go. I assume this is more music. The moon was yellow. And so were my eyes from the jaundice. Okay. This one I think is blank. We have this one, which I am most interested in. Come on. You got it. Lieutenant Cook, and I think it says Narcotics. Lieutenant Cook, Narcotics. I think I want to listen to that. I hope it's like a drug tape. And we also have Practice. It just says Practice. I don't know if that's going to focus. It's in pencil. It just says Practice. Probably practice recording or something on it. But to start us off, let me go back to Qubit. To start off, we're going to do Lieutenant Cook. Narcotics. I hope you all have brought your tape machines with you so you can follow along. You can all pull out your Lieutenant Cook Narcotics tape, and we're going to place it on the reel. Yeah, we're going to... And hello, Aloy Lima, I think. Ubo Hocus, you know it's time to turn the page when you hear a sound like this. Here we go. Alright. So, let's go to the other view, shall we? Wow. And look at this shiny new TIAC A410S reel-to-reel recorder. Brand new from 69, I believe. Hello, Lewd Hamster. What is this technology? Where did you download these reels? I pirated all these reels. I pirated them and then they came in the mail after. Bunch of Disney cassettes and a player and a briefcase as a kid. Wow. What kind? Like Disney songs? Alright. Boom. We're going to load it up. This tape's looking shiny. This tape's looking nice. I hope it's nice and crisp. You got your tape here. This is the tape we're going to listen to. This is your take-up reel. And we're going to load the tape onto the take-up reel. And listen to the tape. Last time I had a really shitty view. There was a really shitty view. It was out of focus. It was like a zoomed in version. It was a zoomed in version of this view, and you guys couldn't even see where I put the tape. How are you supposed to follow along with your tape machine if you can't see it? So here we got this beautiful, beautiful view. The tape clips still haven't come in the mail, so I'm still using these binder clips. I don't know how long the tapes have been in the mail for like a month. I don't know when they're gonna come in or what, but Robin Hood and Jungle Book, hell yeah, that's awesome. How much is a machine like this though? Seriously, I bought this, and all the tapes for $300. So they go for a lot more expensive than this. This is like the cheapest working one I could find, and the guy just did maintenance to it. But yeah, around that price, I'd say. Okay. So here we are. You're on your T-hack. You got your little tape tail here. I wonder if I can turn on this light a little bit more. How about some, ooh, how's that looking? Oh. Now you can see. Okay. Take your little tail. And first off, we're gonna just put it under your little, doohickey here. We all use technical terms. So this is the metal little swinger. And then you're gonna just put it over this little guy. That like kind of magnetizes it or reads it. And if you don't have enough slack, it's easy. You just unravel here. Unravel like so. And I'm just gonna and you're just gonna unravel it. Perfect. And it's gonna feed under. You can see my finger down here. It's gonna feed under this big block. This is what actually reads the tape, so you can listen to it in your home or business. And then you're gonna feed it up through here in between this little wheel and this other little lever thing. And then you're gonna go around the other swingy smiley face guy. And that goes all the way up into your take-up reel. I'm just gonna spin this. And now you can see there's a little hook there, or a little kind of curve out thing that you just kind of loop your tape through like so. And you're gonna hold it so it doesn't fall out, and you're just gonna reel it. Oh God. Perfect. And you're all doing great. Alright, now it's looped. We can hook it back on with your specialty tape clip and piece of leather. Perf. Alright. Under the doohickey, above the doodads. Exactly, Jones. Where do I plug in my phone, though? You can plug in your phone. There's a big phone jack right below. Here. There's actually a phone. I wish I could show you. I guess I can. Jane Else is easy. You just plug it into the phone. Into the phone. Now I'm actually going to show you because there is a plug called the phone. We're actually going to take the time here to do this now. You see it? Do you see the phone plug? Do you see it? You plug your phone in right there. Perfect. Move this back up. Oh. Perfect. All right. So, for those of you just joining, this tape is Lieutenant Cook Narcotics, and we're running at a 3.3, 3.34 speed. So we're just gonna popping on a 334. I don't know how the levels are gonna be, so we'll see. And my audio's not even on.
They don't stop to realize that a drug addict could be something.
Okay, hold on. Let me balance these for us so we aren't listening through one ear. I think it was coming all the way through the left. Yeah, nuclear good. Now we're moving on to drug awareness. Okay, so let's, I think we just want the left side. Okay. There we go.
And look, just exactly like anybody in this room right here. That's the first thing, the hardest thing to get over to a group of people when talking.
Why am I still only getting left side? Bear with me, guys. We'll get this. 1 and 2 master. Oh, here we go. Now we're going.
A drug addict or a hype is that they're not, to begin with, they're not a skinny person, they're not a ugly person, they're just an everyday person like yourself and myself. And it makes it pretty hard for your law enforcement agencies to detect the first stages of addiction to this dreaded drug, heroin.
Why are law enforcement agencies trying to detect the first stages of addiction? That's my first question, Lieutenant. Also, let's set the scene here. So, this is what we know so far. We got Lieutenant, I keep forgetting what his friggin' name is, Lieutenant Cook, showing up to your school. We don't know where he is yet. And he's going to talk about drug addiction, which seems like if he's a lieutenant, he obviously knows about it. I shouldn't judge actually too soon. He might be a recovering addict. But that's what we know so far.
Now, this particular thing that I have in my hand, I thought possibly, I'm not going into a regular talk like I usually give because I'm sure these people have heard a lot of those. I'm going to show you, possibly some of you haven't seen this type of paraphernalia, might learn a little more about it by actually viewing what these addicts do use and how they do use it. This is what we call an opium pipe. Now, a lot of paraphernalia goes along with this particular implement. And I'll break it out, if you'll bear with me just a moment, and explain
This is horrible podcasting
etiquette
etiquette.
to you and how they use it.
Showing something.
First of all, this pipe is used to smoke the raw opium, as you noticed in the picture, the raw opium coming from the poppy. It is a brown, molasses-like fluid. When it comes from the poppy, it's white, and as soon as it hits the air, it becomes oxidized and turns a deep, dark brown. A gummy fluid. Now, this particular fella that had this paraphernalia, he was not only smoking opium, but he was using what we call yin shi sui to inject in his veins because he'd run out of opium to smoke. I'm going to briefly set up a his outfit here.
Hey, what's up, Alliterat? Thanks for the raid, and friends. Yeah, this is a great stream to raid. Usually this is a interactive comedy stream, but thanks for following. But right now I'm listening to old reel-to-reel tapes from the 50s, as one comedian would do on their spare time. So we're listening to a Lieutenant Cook talk about narcotics, and he's about to show us the process, I guess, of smoking opioids. So yeah. And what's up, Alliterat? I don't think I'm familiar with you, but what's up? Welcome to the stream. And what's up, Kevin? I saw you come in. This is now we were discussing alcohol in the last stream, but now we're moving on to narcotics.
Now,
right now he's prepping.
This thing up, explain how they do use it. This is what he used for his lamp or cooker. It's a peanut oil lamp. A wine glass with a hole in the bottom, a little bottle. Looks like he's cut a top out of a tin can.
Basically showing everyone how to do this drug.
And the reason why he uses peanut oil is because it throws off no carbon to get his pipe all black. And he then sets this down. He has a little string wick that goes in the peanut oil, and he lights it. And then he takes his yin pok, this little instrument here. Of course, he's got the pipe in his hand all the time, and he has a fun jar, this thing here, which at this particular time I have no opium in, but this is what he holds his raw opium.
Do the real thing, man. Come
on. A little ball of opium on his yin pok, and then hold it over the lamp. Incidentally, he's laying on his hip or his side when he's doing this. He has the bowl of the pipe heated, and he'll roll this little ball of opium backwards and forwards over the flame until it attains a certain heat, and then he will place it into the top of the bowl of the pipe, working it around.
Yeah, laying on his tip, nuclear goo.
Some more and work a little bit more in there, and then he will drag this smoke through the pipe stem, and eventually, after he's smoking sufficient, he will go to sleep and have vivid dreams. Well, it isn't long until...
That's why everybody does the drug, to have vivid dreams.
It isn't long until he has absolutely gone, or used up all of his opium. So he went, and then he'll take a yin hock rather, and he will take the bowl of the pipe off. There's what we call a G-rag underneath the bowl. Now this is nothing but a gasket, sort of a strainer. He'll take that and set it aside very carefully because the stuff is really expensive. He will then take this implement here and scrape the inside of the pipe, the residue on the inside of the pipe. He calls this yin shi. He will mix this with some fluid, water, or...
I've never heard any of these terms.
Mostly it's just water. And then it's called yin shi sui. He saves everything he possibly can. He will either drink this, yin shi sui, or inject it into his vein. This particular fella, he was quite a hawk. He was injecting the yin shi sui into his veins. And after discovering this outfit, I found a needle with the outfit also, and a little needle cleaner is a very fine piece of wire. So I decided, well, let's see how clean his needle is. I began to check his needle and found that his needle had been clogged. Then I knew what he was using, a safety pin, which I don't seem to have. Probably needed it for one of my children. But he was using this safety pin that had been straightened out. He was puncturing a hole into his vein with this safety pin, and then taking this eyedropper and injecting it into the vein, trying to shoot this yin shi sui like they would heroin. Of course, this causes a great deal of pain and also ulcers that would form in his arm. Now, you see how large this pipe is here, and it's a pretty hard thing to hide in case the police department, or the fuzz they call us incidentally, and a lot.
They call us. And now we've found the location of our tape, friends. Really sorry about that, Jones. I had, like, at my high school there was a huge opioid problem, and I had a few classmates who OD'd while I was in school, so I definitely feel for you, man. It's ridiculous. Thank God we got Lieutenant Cook to really teach us about this, and he said, as the fuzz they call us. So I think he's addressing his fellow officers, and I guess we'll see if this is like some sort of training to catch people or what, but all I know is this is going to be really awful. Carrying on the theme, Aiden, it seems like they have a lot of learning material for their children. Yeah, and for anyone who joined in, most of these tapes belong to somebody that I don't know, but they lived in Anaheim, we suspect, in the 50s. They had a few tapes that they recorded like for private conversations. There's one tape that we listened to which was just like the mom and the dad reprimanding their son and telling him that he needs to like behave himself or else he's gonna be they didn't really even give him a consequence. They're just like, no more going out except for Friday and Saturday. Which, whoa. But they had an AA tape before, and now they have this narcotics tapes. I'm sure they use this as like material to help educate their children on it. We also know that they were pretty affluent if they owned one of these at the time when they came out, because these were pretty pricey when they came out. So yeah. Here we go.
Other things happen to come into the room or break in, happen to get word that this man is illegally using narcotics. So,
thank you, Jones.
And also, it's quite a job to make one of these. So most of our opium smokers in recent years went to using this type of pipe. It's a little vast, and they drilled a little hole in the top of it, a rubber hose with a cork with a mouthpiece on it. Now they use this identically the same way as I explained about the large pipe. But in the event that the fuzz breaks in, they can throw this out the window, dispense with it a lot easier than they can with a larger pipe, and avoid detection. I don't know how, but some of them have actually gotten away with using this type of stuff. Some of the officers have overlooked it. Well, you understand that all of this paraphernalia then is necessary for the opium user to smoke opium. Now eventually, if he drinks a shin-shi-sui continuously, he gets what we call an opium belly. It's ulcerated stomach, actually, but maybe we get a little bit not too cautious in the way we do talk about narcotic addicts occasionally, so we do use a few words similar to I just used. But anyway, he decides that, now this isn't for me. I can carry a hype outfit along with me. I can start using heroin. It gives me a bigger kick, and I'm not so apt to be caught. So he will then attempt to disguise his fit, or fix we call them, in this manner. Inevitably, you'll find a spoon. And I want you to notice, if you can see it from in the back of the room, I don't think you can, but how clean these people are. And then we'll have the spoon. The eyedropper. This person here has, it looks like a, yes it is, a piece of dollar bill, a little edge of the dollar bill wrapped around so to make a gasket so that the needle will fit on tightly. A piece of cotton is used to filter the heroin after it is cooked up through the cotton into the eyedropper and then injected into the vein. Many instances I don't understand how they can keep from actually losing an arm, and some of them do because of the infection. But this is the implement necessary then to inject heroin into your arm. And on every hype or every person that you arrest that's using heroin, either in his home or his automobile, he has one, or somewhere you will find his fix, or spoon, eyedropper, and needle. In many instances you'll find that they have a needle holder.
And if you don't, you plant one there to justify your arrest.
And you have to look very carefully because, as I said before, they attempted to hide it. Now you notice this fella in the picture, he hid his narcotics in a lamp. Well, we've also found narcotics in what we call a ceramic hider. You'll take a little piece of ceramic or a little statuette or something, and that's where you'll hide his narcotic. Brings back the thought one time that there was a narcotic boy that was looking for, a narcotic agent rather, he was looking for this particular hide narcotics. He looked all day long, and in looking for narcotic in a person's home, you have to go about 3 inches under everything to actually find it. So this person had spent something like about 7 hours looking for this heroin. He knew it was there. He had good information it was there, but he just hadn't found it yet. So he got hungry, and he decided, well, I'll cook myself a little, the person's food. He's not going to need it anyway. We don't want it to spoil. So he cooked
That's
a couple
true,
of
Boyd.
eggs, and when he salted the eggs, he found the heroin. It was in a salt shaker. It's sitting on the table out where everybody can see it.
For real, Noxiana.
And I've found narcotic stashes in plants, sitting on a vase or a little, we call them, I don't know, I guess it's a plant vase, where there's dirt and everything in it. They take the plant out, cut half of the bottom of the dirt away, stash their narcotic in there, and put the plant right back on top of it. And you just have to imagine how you would actually hide this stuff if it was your life. If you felt that it was definitely your life that you were hiding, you didn't want anybody to have it. In working with the Sheriff Narcotics Squad in East Los Angeles, we used to get a kick out of sometimes up around Brooklyn and Avenue and that area by, if it started to rain, we'd go and watch the vacant lots and watch these hypes start running for different areas where they had stashed their heroin. They didn't want it to spoil or get, dissolve.
There's like people laughing in the background.
This is also another fit or a fix. It's similar, it's identical to this one here, only a little smaller spoon. Now, we find that these people in hiding to give themselves a shot are sometime in a great hurry. To bring out how filthy they actually are is they will go into a restroom of a service station or someplace, and those places not all the time are clean to begin with. Well, I have actually known hypes. They have to have a little water in the spoon to dissolve the heroin. To dip this water out of the bowl of the commode, or out of the commode of the restroom, and use that to...
Kevin, this is a different tape. This is from, this is a lieutenant giving a speech about narcotics to his other, lower officers. And it's crazy, even in this tape, you can hear, how just the whole dehumanization of people with addiction comes into play, where he's like, these people will run out when it starts raining and look for it, and then you hear people laughing and stuff. It's just like, it fucking sucks. I mean, I didn't expect much from the 50s, but yeah.
Projecting their arm. Day before yesterday, I talked to a boy. He was 20 years of age, addicted. He was using 2 grams a day. This was costing him $50. Now, unlike the price in the picture here, the heroin per capsule has went up. At this particular time, a capsule of heroin will cost you $5, unless you have a real good connection. That means that, we'll say $1,000 worth of heroin bought in the Orient or India or in that area, brought into the States, will bring at least $1 million on the illegal traffic, illegal sale of this heroin. You'll take $500 and go down below the border, buy an ounce of heroin.
Oh yeah, for sure, Haas.
Pad.
Still very stigmatized.
That's not what you lay down on or kneel on. That's where we live, incidentally. That's our pad, not our home. Take a saucer out, take half an ounce of this heroin, put it into the saucer, and then get a half ounce of sugar or milk, or leg makeup, or face powder, or something that looks a great deal like heroin, and mix it with the raw heroin. Now, you paid $500 for this, so naturally, you've got to have half for yourself.
Yeah, Noxiana,
so you're going to go out and get somebody to buy.
My clips have been in the mail for like a month. I still haven't got them. So I improvised, used a piece of leather and these binder clips.
He's going to run as fast as he can through his pad and cut again. Now, we've known heroin to be cut as high as 8 to 12 times before the addict himself gets the capsule that he pays $5 a capsule for. Now you can imagine how much actually how much heroin he is getting for $5. Now, this boy that was shooting 2 grams a day, paying $50, probably was only shooting about
JoJo, this is actually the first remnant of dubstep.
Or maybe a quarter that much. Body build up the tolerance, and actually, the more tolerance your body builds up, why the more heroin you have to feed it. So consequently, his world, or the addict's world, is nothing but
I think they're officers,
one
Kevin.
continuous scheme after another.
I think he's a lieutenant at a police
They
station.
will scheme for their money. They will steal for their money. They will also steal from one another. They will attempt to burn the pusher or their connection, and you can bet your bottom dollar the connection is going to burn them. In many instances, if you don't know the person too well that you're buying narcotics from, you must go up and sound him, the score, asking if he has any heroin. And in the event that he has, why then you must show him by having your gold or your bread in your pocket so he can see it. Now, he don't want you to, he will not hand you the narcotic if you go back to your
I wonder if they're
back pocket
undercover
like this
or they're
to
gonna
get
go
your
undercover.
because you're liable to come out like this and take his heroin from him, or a gun. Most of the time it's a knife, because if they have a gun, they've already hawked that thing or sold it for heroin. So they can steal these things pretty easy. But anyway, they'll bring out a knife and rob the person for his heroin, fully realizing that this pusher can't run up to the
Private prisons, baby.
and say, "The man
Noxiana.
stole my heroin."
That's why.
Another thing the pusher knows is simply this, that if he sells this pusher, or this addict rather, 4 or 5 capsules of nothing but sugar or milk or soda, he knows that that pusher can't run to the Better Business Bureau and say, this man didn't sell me heroin, he sold me sugar or milk. So it's a continuous hassle. From the pusher to the addict, police department trying to catch them. I think that's a bigger hassle yet. become hooked or addicted to the use of heroin, one thing after another, a series of incidents follow one another. Sickness, scheming, more sickness, more scheming, more
Aiden,
sickness, more stealing.
I was thinking the same thing until he said,
That's the two things that you
they
have to
call us
worry
the
about.
fuzz. He used some sort of reference like that.
If you don't have heroin, you're going to get sick. And if you're under the influence of heroin, you can't work. And if you don't have money, you're not going to get heroin.
Haas, he said flash the
there's
gold,
nothing
like
left to do.
flash the money to the dealer so that they know that you're going to pay, I
You
think.
fully realize that 50% of all crime committed this particular time, you can trace it back to narcotics. In the Los Angeles area, I think you could trace back possibly
Los Angeles.
as high as 70% of all crimes committed in the Los Angeles County area to narcotics. I
70%.
don't have any statistics here with me, but I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty close to being right.
I don't have any statistics here with me, but I'm pretty close. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm pretty. You know, I don't have any graphs or anything here with me, guys. But like, come on, 70% seems like a pretty good number to just throw out, right? Right? Come on. I don't have any graphs here. I'm not a math guy, but 70% seems good, huh? Seems good. Seems right. Who's gonna call me out, huh? I'm a lieutenant. I'm a lieutenant, guys. Who's gonna call me out? Step up, huh? Someone think I'm wrong? Step up. Stand up. Stand up right now. That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Real? That narcotics, the addiction, is set by a pattern. In fact, all the cases I've handled, and I've been dealing with narcotics for some 11 years, all the cases that I've handled have followed the same pattern. Now, you people know as well as I do that our youngsters today really don't need too much of an excuse to get shook up at mom and dad. They don't need an awful lot of an excuse to want to go down and visit the kids on the corner or hang around the drive. But we'll say, for instance, the boy
Fucking
or girl
youngsters.
is living in a split home. Mother and father works. Are there sibling rivalry? Or something is wrong in the home where the boy does not want to stay in the home. We'll accuse the boy if the girl does the same thing. Well, naturally, he's going out and seek somebody at his own age that will understand him and give him the necessary love that he is seeking, but he hasn't got at home. Now, these boys that you talk to and say, well, you're seeking some sort of love, they say, drop dead, you're crazy. But it's true. They're craving affection from somebody. Well, they will naturally seek out the places where the young adults or young teenagers are hanging around, the drive-ins, anywhere, the beer joints, wherever there's a group hangs around. This boy will.
Abin show, this is really late to the party government surveillance.
Somebody to understand him.
But we're hot on the case for this tape that was in the 1950s, and we're going to find out who was behind this.
The pattern has been set and has been followed many, many times. So does the pusher, the person that's dealing illegally in the narcotic trafficking. He will hang around those places. He will be driving a nice car, wearing fancy clothes, speaking in this narcotic slang, which if I started, possibly somebody might recognize here, but I doubt if most of you would know what I was talking about.
Narcotic slang?
Eventually, this boy
No,
picks
please
up
go
He
on.
understands what they're talking about, and he thinks this is really cool.
Please, give me some examples of narcotic
He will
slang,
talk that way
Lieutenant.
to understand what they're talking about, and this pusher, at all times, this pusher is making himself known to be a pretty cool cat, so to speak. And this boy then will identify very closely with him. He probably will get to talking exactly like him, wearing his hair like him, dressing like him if he can. The pusher recognizes all of these symptoms. And then he will introduce possibly marijuana to the boy to begin with.
Marijuana, the gateway drug, baby. The gateway
Those
drug.
that haven't seen marijuana and the marijuana cigarette, I want to pass this around. You can take a good look at a jar full of joy.
Don't smoke it,
Set
guys.
around now.
Guys.
Speech teacher at SC.
Guys, don't smoke it. Hey, don't. Hey. No, don't take them out of the jar, guys. Guys, this is just for learning. Put them back. Don't smoke the joints. This is a jar of joints. This just for this. Just put them away. Guys, put them back. Put them back. Don't take them. No. No. Don't take them out. Don't take them out. Put them away. This is for learning.
Told me never to do anything like that, and I don't want anybody to tell him that I did, because he probably wouldn't care now anyway. He said it's the wrong thing to do is to take the attention away from your speech, but I think maybe we'll get away with it here. This is a marijuana cigarette. He will introduce this marijuana cigarette to this boy, show him how to smoke it. And to begin with, it probably will make him sick. He might not like it, his head will hurt. And for the life of me, I have yet to find out what causes the boy or girl to smoke a cigarette, a marijuana cigarette, the second time.
His head will hurt?
They always do.
His head will hurt? Lieutenant, take a puff. You got a jar of joints, baby. You got a whole jar of joints right there. Take a puff, man. Take a puff, baby. I guarantee whatever this headache is will go away. It will not happen. Just take it. You got a whole jar, baby. Just smoke one. I do not possibly understand how these kids, after taking a hit, could take another one, but they always seem to. And I just can't possibly wrap my head around it. I've never smoked it, nor will I ever. I just take the facts from these doctors that we hired to tell us they were bad. But I will never understand why these kids just keep smoking these marijuana cigarettes. I don't understand.
Just to belong to a society, belong to some particular group. I guess that's the reason. My goodness, I wish somebody could tell me why they did it. The same way with their first shot of heroin. It always makes them sick, violently ill. They'll throw up and become real ill. But by George, they'll go right back and do it again. Actually, I believe that the first injection of heroin mentally hooks a person. We know it doesn't physically, but mentally it does. Why, I don't know, but it does. They always go back to the second shot.
They always go
It
back.
isn't long then until they're addicted. Now, going back to this marijuana thing,
They're addicted to marijuana,
they
baby.
will smoke marijuana for a period of time. All the time, the pusher is their friend. He is furnishing this to them, one or two to begin with, and then he is selling it to them. They're going to have a party this weekend, so might as well go down to see this friend of mine and load up with a few joints so we can hook up on the way to the party. Now, you never find a boy or a girl smoking marijuana by themselves. Very seldom do you do this, because they like to be in a crowd when they smoke this. So you'll find 2 or 3 or 4.
That's not true. I never like to be in a crowd when I'm smoking.
Party, and
Crowd?
usually the pusher knows where the party is, and he decides, well, I might be invited, so I'll go along. And he has a handful of pills or barbiturates to go along with the marijuana. Well, I see somebody's been using mine. So. We'll also pass this around. Don't pay any attention to the sign on the top, because I think we've mixed them up. But then, passing around. This is what we call the dangerous drug. Now, this is the stepping stone to the dreaded heroin. They'll take this with alcohol and become very intoxicated. This particular thing, the nimutol, I don't know whether I have that or not. Anyway, this should have went with the marijuana cigarettes. This is dried marijuana that they roll with cigarettes. The nimutol habit, I watched a man in convulsions
Nimutol?
that so bad that his own muscle contraction was about to break his arm. If you can imagine a convulsion that terrific. The man was strapped down. The doctors were doing the best job they knew how to do. They had hoses stuck in this man all over, I'll tell you for sure. And I mean, when they couldn't find an opening, they cut one.
It's when you're smoking in a big group, you know, one of the people in that group are going to have, you know, heroin. It's going to be like, well, if I'm smoking this,
and they weren't doing
let me go to the next step. Everyone knows the next step is
and
heroin.
it was something for the human eye to see. Strapped on a table with all of these contractions on him, and still his own muscle contraction was so terrific that it was about to break his own bones in his body. This was the use of your barbiturates, nimutol. And he'd only been using this some 7 years to get in this condition. So he was real messed up. This pusher will introduce the dangerous drug to our teenagers, and they will take them from him, and take his word that they won't hurt him, and swallow them. Now, our sleeping pills are our dangerous drugs. In many instances, is the cause of a lot of our, what we call accidental deaths, but you'll see on your police blotter, suicide. They're an intoxicant. A person taking these pills will take 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 during the evening and possibly lay down for a while. The effect of the pills will take hold. They'll get up, take 1 or 2 more, forgetting that they've already taken 2 or 3, you see. And a little later on, they'll get up and take some more if they're available there. And eventually, they've taken too many.
Just makes me less drunk, Jones.
Well, naturally, they've had it. They're dead. Well, the police department comes along and they see an empty pill bottle.
Same, Haas.
A person dead. No signs of any violence. So naturally, they say suicide. When it isn't suicide at all, it's accidental death. The person themselves didn't want to kill themselves. They accidentally did it because of these pills were available. Many instances they do use the pills too to kick themselves off. Fortunately, they are available. You can get them pretty easy.
There's the worst things you could have gotten into, Haas.
Buy them by the jars, 10,000 up down below the border. You can also contact a few connections over here around San Pedro, Wilmington, Gardena. You'll notice I didn't say Torrance. They asked me how much narcotics was in Torrance the other day, and I told them, well, you can be sure of one thing, and by golly, you can. That we don't have as much narcotic in Torrance as they do in Tijuana. We got it here. Where
I missed that. I'm going to go back and listen to it again. I got distracted. My damn short-term memory from all the marijuana I've smoked.
Torrance the other day, and I told them, well, you can be sure of one thing, and by golly, you can. That we don't have as much narcotic in Torrance as they do in Tijuana. We got it here. Where?
Why is that so funny? Don't have nearly as much narcotics as they do in Tijuana. There's a lot of women laughing too. I wonder. Yeah, interesting.
We find a community of 100,000 people, or exaggerated there, about 6,000. You're going to find narcotics. You can buy it if you know the people to buy it from. Try to get into this group. You can only do it one way.
Yeah, I wonder if he's
Pattern as
high.
I outlined to you. It's the only way that you can get into it. Either be introduced by a user or hang around and let them contact you. Now, actually, I am sure that most of you people in this room are a little bit older than the average schoolboy or girl going to Torrance High School, but it doesn't necessarily let you out of this narcotic world. Many instances, some of our women fall prey to the use of pills, reducing, getting up with headaches. I always call that
The housewife's drug, pills. Women couldn't possibly know how to light a cigarette.
No, they get up with headaches, so they go to the doctor, and the first thing he knows, well, maybe you need a few pills to sort of pep you up, make you get up and get with it.
Yeah, I think we're at Torrance High School.
And they see that these pills make them feel better. And every time they feel a little bit.
Which is crazy because now we know that he's out of high school and that he just showed all these high schoolers all this paraphernalia and all the ways you can do these drugs. He's gone into so much detail. How could he possibly be at a high school right now in good faith?
Hey, excuse me, I'm sorry, late. It'll take a pill or two. You like
I had dare classes too, but they didn't like pull out.
They will,
At least I don't remember them pulling out like
better not have any more of that
multiple
type of
different
pill.
ways
They'll
on how to
get
do
into a
heroin with
circle
the thing of it and showing them
with
how
some
to do it.
women. Oh, say, I have some of those. If you'd like them, why come over at. Has anybody ever heard of this? Huh? Yeah. So this woman actually, well, she has to drive clear over to Redondo to get it. She's going to go get them. Eventually, she is addicted and doesn't know it. You don't know just exactly how much tolerance your body is going to have for barbituric acid or barbiturates. Don't fool with it. What I'm getting at is don't gamble with
Yeah, that makes
any
sense.
type of drug. Let your doctor tell you how much you need, what to take. Because you can become addicted to this stuff, and it's just as bad as heroin addiction.
What's motion design?
I talk on.
We're listening to Lieutenant talk about narcotics to a high school we just found out in Torrance.
We find women and men. Now, I'm not just on the woman's back tonight, that's for sure.
I'm gonna get another
I'm
beer.
going to tell you a few things about men in just a moment. But I remember a woman that was addicted to the use of Alka-Seltzer. Believe it or not, she had it bad. I had an occasion to get a phone call, a radio call, to go down to a certain house that the neighbors finally going to do something about it. Just come right on down here, officer. We've had enough of this. The old lady lived by herself. She had a cat
It's a totally made up story.
and a house. Yeah, she had a house. And a cat and a dog, and she was an educated lady, incidentally. She had all kinds of degrees. She was a school teacher one time. She had a few operations, so she wasn't working. Well, anyway, I went in the house. And I thought I was at the city dump. There's a lot of filth, a lot of filth. The dog and cat, they never went outside, so you can imagine the filth. Finally, somebody
Who
had
called
kicked the window
them?
pane out of the bottom door, The cat could go out, but the dog couldn't. The poor lady was ill, very ill. She was drinking whiskey and taking Alka-Seltzer all at the same time.
She was drinking whiskey and taking Alka-Seltzer. And we all know it wasn't the whiskey. There's no way it could have been the whiskey. It's definitely the Alka-Seltzer.
So sick, we had to take her to the hospital immediately. We were sure that she was going to die. Where her body, any part of her body touched the other part of her body, there was a sore. Her arm, her eyelids, things like that, were just a running sore. It was a horrible sight. She had been taking Alka-Seltzer and drinking a little whiskey. And the body had no tolerance for it, you see. And it reacted so violently on her that she had to have it. She thought, mentally, see? She would be a pretty good candidate for narcotics, wouldn't she?
I want to see if there's an adverse effect of taking Alka-Seltzer with alcohol.
There's people in this world just exactly like the old woman that became so ill from the use of Alka-Seltzer that they will take anything that anybody tells them is good for them, regardless of what it is, or whether it's poison or whether it's something that is good for them. Your boys and girls today will do the same thing. How many of us men in this room here have went to a party?
It's crazy that that whole section had just ended, I assume, about the whole women being addicted to pills. And the example he brings up is this old lady who had the cops called on her for, we don't know, assuming that she was maybe a hoarder and that people were upset that her house was a mess, because there'd be no way they could tell or call them because they're like, oh, I think she's taking pills. But he uses the example of an old woman drinking whiskey with Alka-Seltzer as this whole point that's like, and you know, this applies to women too. I once knew this lady who did this, and you know, pretty fucked up that you would do that, you know, drink whiskey with Alka-Seltzer. That's, what are you gonna do?
All right, hunting. That's a good one. Up on a hunting trip or something like that, and somebody, a total stranger, you've never seen before in your life, probably will never see again. You meet him, and he'll say, here, have a drink, and he'll hand you a bottle. The label says whiskey, smells like whiskey, but you'll still drink it. How many of we done? Sure, I've done it myself. I bet you everybody here that might have done something that's foolish. We found cases where the guy would be violently ill over on the beach, over on Highway 101, wherever it is. What's wrong with you? Man, I don't know. I met a fellow up the street here, and he gave me a drink. I thought it was wine or whiskey or whatever. Come to find out, he's got a bunch of stuff mixed with this. Barbiturics, stuff like that mixed with this whiskey. We have to get this man to the hospital immediately. So, what I'm getting at by telling you ladies...
What did he say it was mixed with? I didn't catch the things he said it was mixed with. And also, who's going up to a random guy they don't know, and taking some whiskey from them? He didn't say. Yeah, he kind of just mumbled, right? I thought he said, like, all kinds of stuff with it and kind of mumbled, and it was like, you gotta get this guy to a hospital immediately.
He's got a bunch of stuff mixed with this. Barbiturics, stuff like that mixed with this whiskey.
Barbiturics?
We have to get this man to the hospital immediately. So, what I'm getting at by telling you ladies that,
I don't know what that is.
sometimes in our life, we all do something real crazy, don't we? Like getting married. I I'm going to answer a few questions on this subject.
Q&A time.
I thought maybe I might burn a little marijuana to let you know how it smells.
No
Don't
fucking
mind.
way.
Maybe we can get a few whiffs of it. I had the pleasure of going out and interrupting a farmer the other day, so I have some dried marijuana. Was dry. I mean, it was fresh day before yesterday.
Have you guys seen Taking Off? Has anyone here seen the movie Taking Off? Directed by Milos Forman. There's an amazing scene where all the parents go to this seminar to find out more about the drugs their kids are taking, and they pass around a joint to all the parents and they all smoke it, and then there's this amazing scene of them all smoking and getting high together and having a great time. This is what I hope would happen with this, but I assume it's not going to happen.
Huh? Well, it's going to have some because I'm going to light a match to it.
Is it growing in Torrance?
Yeah. Oh, God, I don't know how that guy got in. I tell you the truth, I think a bird came over. That's how a lot of it starts growing, incidentally. Artificial insemination.
Contamination.
I don't know whether we're going to smell it or not, but maybe if we're real careful, we can.
I don't think this is a high school, guys. I think it's the same group that had the AA meeting from the last stream, because it all mostly sounds like women responding. And last time when this happened, I guessed that it was a night school, like women's only night school. But it feels like such a small group, and it's in such a small room. You can tell by the way like the sound carries on the tape that it's not in a very big like auditorium or in a big like space. So I don't know, like night school, that would make sense. Interesting, because he did say you were a little older than the boys and girls. Oh, you were a little older than the boys and girls that go to Torrance High School. Yeah, I think these are we're taken at the same place. A little older than high schoolers. Yeah, I missed that. So yeah, I think it must be a night school. It's just so weird, like burning marijuana to see what it smells like. This is like a weird, like, I don't know. It just feels so weird after like telling them, trying to be so serious about how marijuana is this terrible gateway drug that leads to heroin, that leads to addiction, and then he's gonna burn some and then people can smell it. It's so strange. And everyone's like, haha. It's like, yeah, we talked about this heavy thing for a while, guys. Let's loosen up. I'm going to burn a little bit of marijuana. We can all smell it. Just so you guys know. It's bizarre.
Anybody smell that? These ladies up here are sure getting high.
You ladies up here are sure getting high. You ladies up here are sure getting high. What the fuck? Anyway, I'm gonna write that down as a potential sample while I'm here. 367. It's a police tactic to get people to rat out their friends and family. But also it's like, it's weird that now they're being like, he's being like, okay, we've discussed it, you know that it's bad. Now let's have some fun, let's let loose. Let's smoke this. Like making jokes about It's like, oh, you guys are definitely high now. It's like, if you inhale enough smoke, like, that is burning from that, you will get high. But I guess that's the whole point of, like, I didn't inhale. I didn't inhale. I don't know. It's bizarre.
Well, I was afraid of that, but I thought maybe we might, you probably get a little whiff of it in just a moment. And I'm sure that, smell it now? I do too. In a theater or a dance hall, someplace like that, why usually if you're trained to this smell, you'll never forget it. You can go right to it. So you're using your head, you're using your nose. Amazing. You can certainly, when you come up to a car with a bunch of teenagers in it who's been smoking marijuana, you can certainly smell it then. They usually have all the windows rolled up. But after all, these joints cost 50 cents a piece, and they want to get all the benefit out of it they possibly can. Well, I've seen hypes, or addicts, that will shoot this heroin in their arms and then reach down and save the blood that comes out.
What?
This is the truth. I'm not trying to make anybody sick. This is absolutely the truth.
People are
They
coughing.
cannot lose any of it. A lawyer ever asked a man on one officer, I tell you what happened, so we'll all learn. This lawyer got up on got this officer on the stand. His defendant was sitting back there feeling real good because he had a smart lawyer and he knew that he wasn't going to go to jail. So he says to this officer, the lawyer says to the officer, "What does marijuana smell like?" And the officer came, "Well, I can sure smell that now."
Yeah.
The officer, feeling very proud of himself, a wonderful pinch he made, he got himself somebody with some marijuana. He reared back and he said, "Well," he says, "now marijuana smells something like, mowed alfalfa."
Quick question for the chat. How many people smelled marijuana before they smelled a skunk? Because he just mentioned, well, it sure smells like skunk, and we got a couple ladies being like, yeah, sure does. And I remember Dare coming in and saying that it smelled like skunk. I'm also from Arizona, so there are no skunks, so maybe it's more common for people. But I don't see that as like a reference, but I'm just curious in the chat if you guys knew what a skunk smelled like before you smelled marijuana, if you were told that, if you smelled it. Yeah. Anyway, we'll continue.
So the lawyer says, "Well then, this could be alfalfa that you smell." The officer says, "Well, I guess so. He done made his mistake. He done."
New England skunks are a smell known by two. Tennessee, yeah, skunks smell all the time around here. Where I grew up, we had a lot of skunks. Oh, skunks have come in the house as a kid. I grew up in Michigan. I smelled a lot. This is crazy. So I am like, I guess it's just growing up in Arizona, because Arizona is like very different than I guess most places in the U.S. But I never smelled a skunk until like I think I was in Colorado or someplace that I smelt it. Quite a bit here in Ontario, Canada. They die on the highway. Forest creature, yeah, that makes sense. They get hit by cars and smell the place from out. Ah, well, there you go. I learned something new. Skunks are
So when
common.
anybody asks you what marijuana smells like, or asks me, I have to say, it smells just like marijuana. Because I cannot make these slips on the stand. Some of these lawyers jump right down our throat immediately. We have to be very careful what we say. Now, may I answer questions, and possibly if you have some, any questions? Well, real wonderful. Oh, we have one?
I just wondered, was that odor linger on the phone?
No, no. It only lingers in a person's system approximately 3 hours. Now, they don't only smoke marijuana and drop pills and use heroin and morphine and opiates. They sniff airplane glue, drink oxybiotic, and Asthmador. They build their own concoction, use it. Something like eye medicine, some medicine that somebody had for their heart, and a few other little things, and mix it together.
Is that painful,
Drink
Jones?
this,
Is that
trying
painful
to
to
get
the
a thrill or a
scouts?
new kick. They'll find something with you. This is your addict or person looking for a thrill that has been introduced to the use of heroin or any type of narcotic. Now, this
What's up,
20-year-old, as I was in summing up, the 20-year-old that I was talking to the other day, he had a brilliant mind. He was very proud of the fact that he could read blueprints, he could hold down a job when he was able. He could just do a lot of things. He enumerated a lot of different things that he was capable of doing. But he had the habit. Heroin habit. He couldn't do one thing. He was so glad that we had him on a felony, so we were going to send him to the penitentiary. Can you imagine a 20-year-old man wanting to go to a penitentiary? This fellow did this. He was so happy that he was going to go to this penitentiary. And now, before I close, I want to impress on you. I hope that I've given you something or enlightened you a little bit. I'm sure maybe some of you already know much more about this than myself. But remember one thing, that the citizens of Torrance are the eyes and the ears of your police department. A police officer is only as good as the information he receives. A police department is only as good as the information they receive.
So be a rat.
It behooves each and every one of us
Here we
that
go.
live in the city of Torrance or live in the
Be
city
a
of
rat,
Torrance,
guys.
realizing that we do have this dreaded thing amongst our teenagers and in our communities to report everything that
We're gonna
you
try to
see
find one, Kevin.
that you might suspicion could be narcotics. I'm sure you'll find out that your name will be withheld, be it college.
No
You will be
strings
doing
attached.
yourself a great service and your community a great service, because you find one narcotic addict on your block or in your community, right around in your little neighborhood there, you'll soon find 5 more. It is cancerous. They breed something fierce. You will not be able to leave your car on the street. Your homes will be looted. Your toasters, coffee makers, and things like that will disappear. The electric irons, anything that they can get a hold of to turn over for a fast dollar, they will do it.
Are you... Hey there. Are you tired of your toasters or irons being disappeared from your kitchen? It's probably because there's a local addict roaming your neighborhood that's breaking in and stealing those things. If you think you lost it, you're probably wrong. So you should really accuse anyone you see that might be showing any signs that they're addicted. And just call the police, call 911, say this person's on drugs, call them in. You know, if they're not, it's okay. The more information we have, the better. Information is power for the police station. So, you know, if you're missing something, it's better off just call us. Just call us. Just call us.
Your purses will be snatched
Your
under
purses.
your arm. These narcotic addicts are desperate. They're on a pattern that they jumped into as a teenager, and they're never going to return. The only cure for heroin addiction is death. Anybody that's worked in it very long will tell you the same thing. So it behooves us to realize this and to
Kevin, I'm
attempt to
claiming the
stand
stash
out
back
with
from
dread
the fuzz.
narcotic addiction or narcotics from our community. Thank you very much.
So loud. Oh my God.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
How many people are permanently cured on the statistics or any way of knowing?
98% of all people returning to society from the narcotic hospitals return to the use of heroin after they have been cured.
98%.
Most instances, it takes only 6 months, they're back on it.
Well, how many times do they have to be picked up before they're kept permanently?
Well, they're never kept permanently unless the law provides for them to, to get a life sentence. But at this time, we have no laws.
What can we do as citizens to?
Well, I think our laws are adequate at this particular time. I believe the only thing that we can do as citizens is to be educated to the fact that this stuff.
This woman just like suggested like, oh well, we should be able to sentence the addicts to life sentences in the hospital so they never have to leave. If 90% of them go back to being addicts when they leave, just keep them in there. They never leave. Solution. Wow, you're a genius. Absolute genius. And even though this is probably definitely a made-up statistic because he has shown in the past that he just threw out 70% and then didn't really provide any sort of... He even said, like, I don't have a statistic here. But with that 98%, you definitely know that it's the addict's fault that when they get out, they go back to it after 98%. It's definitely not the institution's fault. It's got to be the addicts. The system can't be wrong. The system was made perfectly, so the addicts get out, 98% go back. We gotta stop. We gotta lock up those addicts. We've tried. We've tried our best.
Is a killer. To know narcotics, to know what it does, educate our children the same as you would educate them about a black widow spider or a rattlesnake. Don't touch it. It'll kill you. Narcotics and drugs will do the same thing. And we seriously believe, that education alone is one of the main factors that's going to suppress, and you notice I said suppress, the narcotics in this area.
Suppress.
Taking the value away from it is not going to help. In fact, in many instances, we wish that the narcotic or the heroin pill itself or capsule itself was worth $50 instead of $5 or $3. And we know, in many instances, we know that these boys and girls are not going to get that much money to buy it. Education alone is the one factor that's going to suppress narcotics.
Oh, but what if you legalized it and, put it into a system where, you could actually distribute it properly and that addicts, when they go into these medical hospitals that only have a 2% success rate, can actually administer the drugs legally and slowly wane them off of it. And maybe you would eliminate the illegal drug trade. But no, education. No, right, education.
Schools,
Education
our homes,
first.
wherever we see or hear of narcotic, we should educate our children, young adults, young teenagers, what this stuff will actually do to them. Habit a killer. It is a killer. You're living a life of living hell anyway. Every time that you wake up of a morning, you've got to have a shot of heroin. When you have it, you might be shooting death into your arm. You might be taking an over jolt of it. This has happened because it's cut so many times before. It gets to you. Somebody might not be so greedy and let a bunch of raw stuff come in, you see. And then your addict that's been taking, say, 3 capsules of cut stuff will take 3 capsules of the raw stuff or the pure stuff, and he gives himself an overdose and he dies. He don't know that. So they're taking the chance every time they inject this needle in their arm. Now this affects everybody. The youngest height that I know of is 11-year-old girl. The oldest one is about 43. Bathhouse Joe or some sort of a name like that he's had.
That's probably why he's burning weed in this meeting house.
Any more questions? Yes.
according to the most recent estimates, reliable. How
Where's
many
the
are
guy?
there in the Los Angeles area?
Oh, good gracious. I had those statistics the other night. Anyway, 75% of all arrests made in California last year, all narcotic arrests, was made in the Los Angeles area. 73% made in the Los Angeles area.
What is a
Now,
lieutenant? What is a lieutenant? What the fuck did you just say, lieutenant? 73% of Los Angeles arrests for narcotics were made in Los Angeles area. 75, 70, 70, I had the statistic, 70,
Oh, good gracious. I had those statistics the other night. Anyway, 75% of all arrests made in California last year, all narcotic arrests, was made in the Los Angeles area. 73% made in the Los.
was he looking at something? Was he holding something? I want to see him. What made him change from 75 to 73? He's trained to always be confident, always just deliver the things confidently. But what made you change your mind? Where are you getting these statistics, Lieutenant? He might be high. That's a good point, Jones.
Angeles area. Now, I'm sorry, I don't have those figures available, but it's
Okay, you guys like this angle?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any way to control the growth or curb the abundance so that just anybody can get it and keep it for medical purposes only? Would there be any way to not have the freedom of that drug on their feet and everywhere?
Well, there's ways of doing it, but I'm not smart enough to tell you. We can
Wait,
close
hold
the
on,
border
hold
down.
on. Let's try to listen into this question.
Just anybody can get it and keep it for medical purposes only. Would there be any way to not have the freedom of that drug on their feet and everywhere?
Guys, MVP of the tape right here just asked, would there be any way for the people to get this drug medically? Is there any freedom to this drug that people could get medically?
Well, there's ways of doing it, but I'm not smart enough to tell you. We could close the border down there, that would help, but then we do know that a lot of this stuff is coming in from Red China.
Wait, maybe I misunderstood her. Did she say medically or illegally? Maybe I just have wishful thinking.
Would there be any way to not have the freedom of that drug on their feet and everywhere? Or curb the abundance so that just anybody can get it and keep it for medical purposes only? Would there
Yeah, is there any way to curb the abundance so that nobody could get it only for medical purposes only?
be any way to not have the freedom of that drug on their feet and everywhere?
Yeah, the way to decrease the abundance and not get it illegally is to legalize it, Karen. Legalize the drug, Karen.
Well, there's ways of doing it, but I'm not smart enough to tell you. We could close the border down there, that would help, but then we do know that a lot of this stuff is coming in from Red China. Comes into our seaports. Some of our service personnel is bringing it in. It would be pretty hard to control the flow of it into our United States, especially into California with as many seaports as we do have. Comes in from the Arizona border, the Oregon border.
Fucking Arizona, can't
It's
trust
awfully
them.
hard. And if it wasn't a mixed group, I could go into telling you how some of it is brought into the States. And you understand then, after I got through telling you, the reason why many of our border officers can't find it. So it would be a hard job to actually control it. The only thing, as I said, we can do is be very diligent and suppress it.
It's so hard to control.
Is it legal to manufacture this if it is manufactured in the country of its origin?
Nowhere in the United States is it legal to sell or possess heroin.
No, that isn't what I mean. I mean where the heroin
No,
is
bitch.
actually made or obtained. Is it legal in those countries?
Oh, yes. Yes, then Mexico at one time had about 100 legal poppy fields. I imagine they have some down there now.
How come the people were not dead?
Well, honey, they don't all use it.
Honey, let me roast you for a second. Even though education is the most important thing, I'm going to make you feel little for asking questions about this drug. You know, I said the only way to reduce it is to educate you. But if you ask a stupid question, I'm going to roast you. So, get roasted, lady.
Any more questions?
Mr. Breslin, class, please report back. And the others in my class, you can take a little break, have your wheels up.
So much commotion, what's happening?
Isn't there a way now that doctors can tell teenagers are using marijuana?
Naline drugs, they call it. Naline reacts on the nerves of the eye.
Are those marijuana cigarettes, are they always in that colored paper?
No, in many instances they're in white paper. Sometimes they smoke in pipe.
Orgy started. Yeah, now's the point where we all do an orgy.
When you want the next movie show? About how long?
My son asked a question I can't answer. He asked him, he said that your marijuana cigarettes look different than me. Do the people who push them ever make them look like this or
Yes.
anything so that they wouldn't know?
Yeah, they put them here to take out some of the tobacco, put marijuana in there, tobacco.
In other words, it isn't safe to
No.
smoke a cigarette from anyone unless you know.
Did this belong to an Oriental addict?
Did this belong to an Oriental? This is the most exciting part of the tape. There's so much commotion happening.
I recognize you. Right here, I lost my about 2 years ago.
Well, there's the deal.
People just coming up to the microphone and making sounds in it.
Oh, especially with 4 children. We're gonna go look. Wonderful children.
I think that's it. Well, that was fun. Super fun tape. Lieutenant giving a bunch of misinformation. We love it. We're going to rewind it now. That was good. And we'll try to, Kevin brought up that he wants to listen to a personal tape, and so do I. I want to find a self-tape from the family again. That'd be a good one to end on. We're going to fast forward this. Oh, it's so scary when it goes fast. Ah! It's going so fast. It's going so fast, guys. Hey, Dark Army Soldier. I'm just making sure that this tape machine doesn't break. But here we go. Nice and slow at the end. And ta-da! Perfect. Boop. Sweet. We finished up narcotics with Lieutenant Cook. Solid tape. Say goodbye, Lieutenant Cook. Alright, now we're gonna try to find a self-tape. I'm gonna check if practice has something. This is the one we were gonna do before. It says practice on it. I assume if it's practice, it's the dad who bought the tape machine practicing recording or something. So we'll just see what it's like. I hope it's just him saying test a bunch of times. Test, 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 test. This tape is all out of whack. Alright. All of you following along, of course, we have our nice TIAC. We have our nice TIAC automatic reverse A4 4010S tape machine here. You can follow along. If you're loading up a new tape reel, we're gonna do it up here. Bring it under the doohickey. Bring it under the doohickey, metal doohickey here. Bring it over the black little knob. If you don't have enough slack, make sure not to move the case that's standing on. If you don't have enough slack, just roll it out. It's gonna be okay. Roll it out under the big black box there, in between the wheel, up through the smiley face cigarette, all the way up until you have enough slack. Keep rolling it up until you have enough slack to loop it through your little loop thing here. Just give it a little, just give it a little, just like that. And then you're gonna hold your tape on. Make sure to give yourself enough slack if you need it. Oh, and I lost the tape. I was afraid that was gonna happen. But don't worry. Don't worry. We're gonna reel it back around. And you're gonna loop it. You just gotta make sure to hold the loop in there or else it's gonna fall out just like what happened. What I just did. Just like that. You're gonna hold it. You're gonna loop it. Just like that. Oh, perfect. And now we got ourselves a full loop. Perfect. We're going to reset that to 0. And then Mavula says, I bought a TAC reel-to-reel when I was in the Army. Bought it cheap in the PX. Apparently this was popular in the Army. This was like very popular, especially in the Vietnam War. It was popular for soldiers to buy these for entertainment purposes. So fun fact. Anyway, this is called practice. So we don't know what's on this. We're just gonna go for it.
Let's start talking. Hold it about. They aren't moving. What is it? It moves slow, don't they?
Well, sure it moves slow.
Okay.
All right.
I'll start.
Now keep it about 8 inches, about like
Here.
that, yeah.
Okay.
And watch this. Now talk into it a little bit and see what it says.
Talking to it.
See,
Oh, this
a
poem.
little louder.
This poem is.
See how those, how, let me see.
See how the green things come together.
Yeah.
See, you don't want to get them too close to.
And it's taking everything down, see.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was on.
Hello. Hello. Yeah.
Okay, it'll pick everything up, so. Now, Carol, try and relax, in spite of my being here and laughing and so forth.
Oh. I made a bad mistake, and none of you should do this. I forgot to put my reel holders on. And by reel holders, I mean this binder clip because my reel holder's in the mail.
A few minutes to get serious, but the very first thing you have to do is to concentrate and forget everything else.
Mvula, you were in
one thing.
Vietnam?
And I want you
It's
to
crazy.
And stare at your wrist, I think.
It's just the neighbor.
Dark Armory Soldier, that's exactly why I bought it, to
You
see.
can't even concentrate yourself or relax. How do you expect me to do it?
I can, though.
You
What's
can't?
up, Super Pizza?
Okay. Concentrate on my wrist, huh?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to ignore these things, but once you get going, these things can make you go out even faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like the telephone or something can actually make you go out. Telephone rings, you will go out.
You gonna fix it that way so every time the phone rings I go out?
It could.
No, I don't want that on
No,
the
no, but it's possible.
Okay.
No, try and concentrate. Concentrate on your wrist and keep staring at your wrist. And forget all about other noises that you hear anywhere. Just keep staring at your wrist and concentrating on that one thing. And as you concentrate and as you breathe, with every breath that you take, you are becoming more and more relaxed. I know it's going to be funny, it's going to be hard, but keep staring.
I think the dad is a hypnotist. Because we listened to a hypnosis tape last time, and I suspected that the dad was the voice taking the notes for hypnosis. Maybe it's his hobby. Maybe it's his weird his weird dad hobby. You know those weird dad hobbies. He probably got into hypnosis, and now he's doing it on his wife.
And as you stare at your wrist, your arm from your elbow to your fingertips is going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. No, it's going to get lighter and lighter and lighter. Keep concentrating on your wrist. Concentrate on your wrist, and your arm will be getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And you're going to lose all the feeling in your arm from your elbow to your fingertips. All of the feeling whatsoever, absolutely no weight. The only feeling that you will feel will be a little tingling at the end of your fingers. Keep staring at your wrist and concentrating on your wrist. And remember, with every breath that you take, your arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. This is getting more serious all the time, and your wrist is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Your whole arm is getting lighter. Your hand is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And your fingertips are tingling. And that's the only sensation that you can feel. Your fingertips are tingling. And as your arm gets lighter and lighter, soon there will be absolutely no weight to your arm. Absolutely no weight to your arm. As you keep staring at your wrist, your arm will be getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And soon your fingertips will be going up from the table. Up from the table, gradually and slowly. Your fingertips are tingling, and soon they're going to be raising from the table. Raising up, raising up. As your arm gets lighter and lighter and lighter, keep staring at your wrist so that your arm will get lighter and lighter and lighter. Keep listening to my voice. Every breath that you take, you are getting more relaxed, more completely relaxed in every way. More relaxed, feeling wonderful. And your arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Your arm has absolutely no weight. It's losing all of its weight. And the only feeling you have is in your fingertips. Your fingertips are tingling, and soon they are going to rise from the table. Your fingers will be the first part of your hand to rise. Your fingers will begin to rise from the table. Keep concentrating on your wrist, and your arm will be getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Keep concentrating with your eyes on your wrist, and keep thinking about your wrist. Keep thinking about how light your arm is becoming. Clear from your elbow to your fingertips. And your fingertips are tingling, and soon your fingers are going to show movement. And your fingers are going to rise from the table slowly and gently. They're going to rise. I see a tingling, a slight movement in your fingers, and your arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Keep staring at your wrist and be completely relaxed with every breath that you take. Completely relaxed with every breath that you take. Your fingertips are tingling, and your fingertips are itching to raise off the table. Your fingertips will be the first to go off the table. Stare at your wrist. Keep staring at your wrist. Your entire arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Absolutely no weight whatsoever.
I will, Aiden.
No weight whatsoever. Your fingertips are getting itching. They're itching to rise off the table. Beginning to rise. Keep staring at your wrist. And as you stare at your wrist, your fingertips will rise. Your fingertips are beginning to rise. They're moving just slightly now. And they're moving slightly, and they're beginning to go off of the table. Your fingertips are beginning to rise from the table without any will of your own. They are rising by themselves, slowly and surely. Keep staring at your wrist. Keep staring at your wrist, and as you stare at your wrist, you are becoming more completely relaxed in every way. Your entire arm is becoming more relaxed in every way. Your fingertips are beginning to rise off the table. Rise off the table. Rise off the table. Your whole hand is going to begin to rise off the table. Your entire hand is going to rise off your table. And every sound that you hear outside will only tend to make your hand rise from the table. Every sound that you hear outside will only make you go completely relaxed in every way. Your fingertips are rising from the table, gently rising from the table. Your fingertips are so light that you cannot even feel any weight. Your fingertips are so light that they don't have any weight. Your fingertips are beginning to rise off the table. Then your entire hand is going to get off the table, and your entire arm is going to raise off the table, completely relaxed in every way. Your whole arm is becoming more and more relaxed. Your fingertips are itching to rise off the table. Your fingertips are beginning to rise off the table. Then your whole hand will rise off the table. Keep staring at your wrist and concentrating on your wrist. Concentrate all of your attention on your wrist and just listen to what I am saying. Your entire arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So very light that you can feel absolutely no weight whatsoever. And your hand is going to rise off of the table. Your fingertips are going to rise off the table. Every sound that you hear will only tend to make your fingertips rise from the table. Your fingertips are rising from the table. Concentrate on your wrist. Concentrate on your wrist. Keep thinking about your wrist. And as you concentrate on your wrist, your entire arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Absolutely no weight whatsoever. Completely relaxed in every way. Completely relaxed in every way. Your fingertips are going to rise off the table. Raise your fingertips off the table. Raise your fingertips off of the table. Raise your fingertips off of the table. Raise your fingertips off of the table and concentrate on my voice as you concentrate on your wrist. Concentrate on your wrist, and your arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter and lighter. Raise your fingertips off of the table. That tingling sensation will make them rise from the table. Rise from the table. Raise your fingertips from the table gently and slowly. Higher and higher and higher. Make them go up higher and higher and higher. All by themselves, make them go up. Concentrate on your wrist. Concentrate on your wrist and be more completely relaxed. Be completely relaxed in every way. Be completely relaxed. Your fingertips are rising off of the table, and now your entire hand is going to rise up from the table. Your entire hand is going to rise from the table. As your fingertips are slowly rising from the table, so is your hand going to rise from the table. Your arm is completely relaxed in every way. Your fingertips are rising higher and higher. Raise them higher and higher and higher. Raise your fingertips higher and higher and higher. And now your hand is going up. Your hand is going up higher and higher and higher. Keep concentrating on your wrist. Concentrate on your wrist. Concentrate on your wrist. And your hand is beginning to rise from the table. Your hand is beginning to rise from the table. Your entire arm is completely relaxed in every way. And your arm is starting to rise. Your hand is starting to rise. Raise your fingertips up higher. Higher and higher and higher. Bring them up. Bring them up. Your fingertips are rising from the table. Your fingertips are rising, and now your entire hand is going to rise from the table. Your entire hand is going to rise. Your entire hand is going up from the table. See it go up, higher and higher. Your entire hand is going up without any thought of your own. It's going up by itself, completely by itself. Keep concentrating on your wrist. Keep concentrating on your wrist, and your entire arm is getting lighter and lighter and lighter. And as it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, your entire hand is now off of the table and going higher and higher and higher. Higher and higher and higher. And with every breath that you take, you are becoming more completely relaxed in every way. Feeling absolutely rested and wonderful, completely relaxed in every way. And as your hand goes higher and higher and higher, Your eyelids are going to get droopier and droopier and droopier. Your eyelids are going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. As your hand goes higher and higher and higher, your eyelids are going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. And you're going to begin to get sleepier and sleepier and sleepier. Feeling absolutely relaxed, completely relaxed and wonderful in every way. Your hand is going up higher and higher and higher. And as it goes higher, your eyelids are going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Your eyelids are going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. As your complete arm begins to relax more completely and has absolutely no weight whatsoever, your entire hand is going to rise from the table higher and higher and higher. As you concentrate on your wrist, as you keep concentrating on the thought of my voice, on the sound of my voice, your hand is going higher and higher from the table, way up from the table. And as it's rising, your eyelids are getting heavier and heavier and heavier. Your eyelids are getting heavier and heavier and heavier. You are getting sleepier and sleepier and sleepier as you hear my voice. As you concentrate on your wrist, your hand is going higher and higher and higher. Your hand is going higher and higher and higher. And your entire arm is completely relaxed with absolutely no weight whatsoever. As you raise your hand higher and higher and higher, your eyes are getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and you are getting sleepier by the second, getting sleepier by the second. Soon you will not be able to hold your eyes open. Your eyes will no longer be able to be open. Your eyes are getting so very heavy, so very, very heavy, that you can't hold them open any longer. Your eyes are getting so very heavy, and your arm is rising, rising so high. Your arm is rising from the table.
Welcome.
And with every movement that your
Sherrod,
arm
you
rises from
raid.
the table, your eyes are getting
Listening
heavier
to
and
an
heavier
old
and heavier.
hypnosis tape
As you
from
concentrate
the
on your
50s.
wrist, with every breath that you take, you are becoming more completely
Thank you for the raid.
relaxed. And your eyes are getting heavier and heavier.
If you're just joining us,
and heavier.
your eyes should be heavy and your arms
With
should be
every
light.
breath that you take, your hand is going higher and higher and higher, and your eyes are becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. And you will not be able to keep your eyes open any longer. Your eyes are beginning to get heavier and heavier and heavier. Your eyes are getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And your eyelids will be completely closed. You will not be able to keep your eyelids open. They are going to be completely closed. Your eyelids are getting so heavy, so very heavy, that you can't keep them open any longer. Your eyelids are so heavy that you can't keep them open any longer. And your arm is going higher and higher and higher. And your entire arm is getting
Same,
so
Jones.
very light, so very light, so very light. And as your arm is rising, as you concentrate on your wrist, your eyelids are getting so very heavy, so heavy.
Angelo, yeah, I think the
Keep
tape is expired,
concentrating on your
or else I would
wrist
be asleep by now.
and listen to the sound of my voice, and your eyelids are going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. With every thought that you concentrate upon your wrist, with every breath that you take, your eyelids are getting heavier and heavier.
The recording
and
is very
heavier.
clean, though. Can you
And
guys
will not be
imagine
able
this
to
guy
close
recording this
your eyes.
in the late 50s?
Close your
Think about that
eyes.
for a second.
Be completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Close
60
your
years
eyes.
ago, near 60 years ago,
Close your eyes completely.
this guy recorded this with his
Relax
wife, maybe?
completely and close your eyes.
And we can almost hear it
As you
perfectly.
concentrate on your wrist, you are closing your eyes. You cannot keep them open any longer. Completely relaxed. As you close your eyes, your arm is going to go back on the table. Your hand is going to go back down to the table. And as your hand goes back down to the table, slowly and surely your eyes are going to be completely closed when your hand hits the table. Your hand hits the table. Your hand will hit the table. And when your hand hits the table, your eyes will go completely closed.
That's what I'm saying, Jones.
Deep.
I think he's in Anaheim, though.
Completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Your eyelids are getting heavier, heavier and heavier. Completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Your arm is going back down to the table. And when your arm hits the table, your eyes will go shut. Your eyes will be closed. With every breath that you take, you are becoming more and more relaxed. As you keep concentrating on your wrist, your hand is now going back down to the table. Back down to the table. Back down to the table. And you are getting sleepier and sleepier and sleepier. Completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. And you are getting sleepier and sleepier and sleepier. Your eyelids are so heavy you can't keep them open. Your eyelids are so heavy you can't keep them open. You're completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. As you keep concentrating on your wrist, you're completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Your eyes are going closed. Your eyes are
That'd be perfect right now, motion design.
getting closed. Your eyelids are so heavy you can't keep them open. Your eyelids are so heavy you can't keep them open. Your eyelids are so heavy you can't keep them open. Completely relaxed. Feel wonderful. Completely relaxed. Completely relaxed. Go deeper and deeper and deeper.
She's asleep, guys. I did it. I did it. She's asleep. Hypnosis works. Hell yeah.
Now you are beginning to open your eyes more and more. You are beginning to open your eyes more and more. And feeling a little more awake. Feeling absolutely wonderful in every way. Feeling absolutely wonderful. Not sleepy at all, but feeling absolutely vital in every sense of the word. Full of life, full of energy. Feeling absolutely wonderful. As you hear my voice, you are getting more awake. Your
Thanks for
eyes
coming by,
are becoming
Mbula.
more awake. Your eyes are becoming more awake, and you are completely relaxed and feeling wonderful. Remembering everything. As you hear my voice, you are beginning to awaken. More and more awake. Wider and wider awake. Wider and wider awake. Wider and wider awake. And when you are completely,
It's true, Aiden.
finally awake, you will take your gaze away from your wrist.
Didn't work.
Your arm went up.
Yeah, but I had the feeling that if I wanted to put it down, I could have.
Yes, 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 yes.
I couldn't have?
That's the old story.
Oh, that is the greatest comedic bit we could have ever achieved on these reel-to-reel tape machines. Almost 245 seconds in, after doing this whole entire thing, it's like, and now you're awake. And she's like, it didn't work.
Felt, that's the way you feel.
Oh, are you supposed
In
to
the
feel
first
that way?
stages, you feel, you're fully conscious of everything. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't remember. You're fully conscious, but you see, the first stage, you seem to be in a kind of a misty dream world. I mean, just a kind of a real good feeling, but you know what's going on, and you know you
For
can
real,
do this,
Motion Design,
but you
for
don't
real,
have any
mansplaining
desire
it.
to. I mean, you don't feel, well, what the heck with it.
Might as well try it.
No, that's the feeling you get when you first stages. Exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot longer than Second Super Pizza. I'm not sure
You're,
what
you
it
know
is.
everything that's going on. Don't think that you don't. You know everything. You hear everything. But you just don't seem to care. You get the feeling that, well, I could put it down if I wanted to. But you didn't.
Should I have?
Well,
What would happen if I did?
that means you weren't as receptive as you were. I think you were fairly receptive.
And then it just ends. They have a huge fight after this. I want to hear that part. Is that it? That's the bummer thing, is like most of these tapes, like only like a fraction of the tape is used. Wow. I do love the female presence on these tapes, though, because so far the tapes that we've had, it's a lot of men like explaining or doing something to either a group of women or a woman. And in the AA tape, we saw a lot of women snap back and be like, ask really actually good questions about these. And then with this, like, it's just this guy who I assume got into hypnotism for like a while. Like, his wife's like, oh great, my husband's getting into hypnotism. And then he does it for this whole time. She's like, that didn't work. You're dumb. You're dumb. It's really great. I love it. Because stereotypically you get these depictions of women from the 1950s, and all you get are the housewife depiction with the mom with the apron that has the kids that always stays in the house, and the dad goes with the suitcase and briefcase out to the things, and you know, that is the classic 1950s thing. But in these, you get these really sharp, snappy women who are just like shooting the men down, obviously way more intelligent than they are, way more perceptive into like figuring these things out. And I really like that. I really like being able to like dive back into that part of time and seeing a different perspective on it. Anyway, that was, we'll rewind this one. That was him practicing hypnosis. I'm so scared. Oh, fast forward just in case. Okay. I'll fast forward just in case.
It will be complete. Hello.
Great call, Kevin. We found another thing. dummy. There's such a huge break between the first tape and this one. I'm gonna get another beer. Also, this tape has like zero noise. Like the narcotics one was so noisy. This one's so clean. It's so like it's really wild. Kevin, I will check the whole reel. I was being lazy, but I'll check the whole thing. Also, I'm not throwing away any of these reels, so I'll definitely go back and check them all. I'm out of beer, so I'm gonna have a White Claw. Just look at this, guys. Just look at now and then. Now and then. Is this as phallic as you'd like it? And this Reel to Reel episode is sponsored by White Claw.
How many miles? Yeah, 225 miles. Good, we'll tape somebody. Oh, hey.
Dark Armor Soldier, they're not really that great. But they're like drinking. It's like better light beer.
Hello.
I guess. I really stopped it at the right time. I thought I missed a lot, but we're back at the hello.
Go good.
Oh, you missed it, Aiden. I'll bring it back.
You know any good jokes? What's wrong with you? I am Matt. Oh, Donald. Got some money for ice cream? Ice cream? What do you mean ice cream? I haven't ate yet.
Ice cream for ice cream.
Too late now, Donald. Sure. Hey, you mean we talking? Goodbye. Boy, that was a blast. That was a blast. Yeah, that was a hassle. Wow, that was good.
In the middle of the night.
That's me, my girl.
In the middle of the night.
I'm beginning to change my mind. Hey, that guy! It was backing off slowly, Donald. Guess your microphone. Hey, what? Supposed to be. Idiot. Hey, Hold on a minute.
Music. Recording our voice. What down, Macquarie? Turn on the sounds, fella. Come on, Mac. Turn the record. You come road. Are you recording us? Hey!
I need it. My moon is bright. I need it. I see Yeah.
That isn't recording. It's recording now? Play it back.
Oh no!
You let it record all day?
Hey guys, see straight.
Tell me what your horse's name is.
Okay. Oh, microphone.
Oh, microphone.
Mr. Microphone, you.
These people sound wasted.
Way down yonder, I had my pony on the reservation, and the Oklahoma hill where I was born.
Tell them how much you love Nan.
You kidding? Let everybody know?
Tell them how much you love Nan. Sing a song.
Microphone, if you repeat this to anybody else, I'm gonna get mad.
Are you gonna sing?
Okay.
Sing?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
close, not but 8 inches.
Well, the dad's there
Oh,
too.
give me a home with a buffalo and the day and the skies.
Hey, that's all right, Don.
Home on the way where the deer and the animal plains were seldom is heard, and the sky and the skies are like cloudy old days.
Good job, dude.
Come on, Elvis.
Sing the last round up.
I don't know all of it.
Last round up.
Tell them how much you love Nan. You started to tell it. Now tell it. Tell it.
I love a certain girl that goes to Torrance High.
What?
What's her name? What's her name?
What's her name, John?
You're joking.
No, I'm not.
Torrance High. Torrance High.
Gary will be very happy.
She's in the 11th grade. Her name is Nan Suri.
Oh, that's good. Okay, Don.
Hey, wait a minute, my name's Suri. I want to have a blast on it.
Sing for you.
This is special for her.
Okay,
This is especially for
dedicated.
everybody quiet. Dedicate to Nan. Everybody quiet.
I'm heading for the last roundup. I'm heading for the last roundup with my old buddies Flip and Tex.
Forget the song.
I'm heading for the last roundup. Yeah.
Let's play it back and see what happens. Now keep it up and down about
here?
no about there.
Okay.
The music might help you.
This is one I wrote especially.
Oh, the one you wrote?
Oh, you wrote it, you guys.
All right, let's be quiet.
I like how the dad voice is so distinctive. You can really tell his voice
This
over the
one's
crowd.
this one, the one I wrote for myself.
when I was at home a long time ago in Texas. This is especially for donating Nan Suey. I hope she likes it. I hope the students of Torrance High likes it too. I'm not gonna run no more. I got a price on my head. All the chef and his posse on my tail. I could hear those hound dogs barking as they running short after me. For the crime I did not commit, why should I run? So I could be hunted down as a fugitive from now on. I'm not gonna run no more. I'm not gonna run no more.
John, sit down. I didn't get rid of Right, sit down.
Because I'm getting tired of running so hard. I got shot in the leg last night by one of the bullets. The chef is still looking for me. So I'm going to town to give myself up and hope I won't have to run no more.
That's interesting, just a tiny taste. Also, each reel spins at different speeds compared to the amount of tape on it. So the more tape that's on a reel, the slower
I'd personally
it
like to
spins.
congratulate Don for his fine singing.
What an interesting song. He got shot in the leg when he was 9, apparently. Thanks, Death Wish Dina. I hadn't bought this reel-to-reel for this purpose, but when I had all these old reels, I figured it'd be good to listen to them with people, so. I'm gonna need to get some more, though. These are eventually gonna run out. I'm not sure if there's anything else left on this tape. I'll fast forward just to see. Oh no. Oh, I almost broke it. This is why you don't hit immediately stop when you're fast forwarding. You hit the opposite direction. But I didn't break the tape, so we're good. Not sure if there's anything else on this tape. See, when you hit the opposite direction, it slowly slows it down, and then you can hit stop. Yeah, I think that's it for this tape. This is why he's not running anymore. I ain't gonna run anymore. Please do, Alex. I will donate. Donate to break the tape? Oh yeah, Dina, we've met. Yeah, we've met in person, Dina, at the house. I didn't have this beanie on. I had my hair out. I was the blonde guy with the mustache. Um. Okay, I think this is done. Donate to buy more reels. Oh yeah, you should definitely do that. Thing is, I don't know how many people like I'd have to go to like estate sales to find more reels. Because I don't know where else I would find them. Ooh. That was a good reel. We got practice of hypnotism, and then some audio of a party and that guy singing. I'm gonna try to rewind here then. So sketchy. Hold on. Okay. Yes, we have realized why you looked familiar as from Arya's stepdad. Oh yeah, Arya. Yes. Yeah, Arya never went back to live streaming, unfortunately, but that's how the cookie crumbles. I also was the cameraman when he interviewed Ice Poseidon, but that's a whole other life. Wow. We were close, guys. 9. I think that timer's off, though, but that was a pretty close stop. Looking up Torrance, California hypnosis and stuff like that, and it was sending me down some rabbit holes. Yeah, I was disappointed and not shocked. Yeah. Don't forget instructions for opioid use. Yeah, we started off with that lieutenant talking about opioid use to those teens. Well, not teens, they were older. I think a night school of women. Alright, cool. Well, guys, I don't know if Super Piece is still here, but I think I might still do a DJ set. I'm gonna end the stream though for right now, and then at 10 maybe I'll do a DJ set. But this is great. Thanks for joining in, everyone. I'll try to do this again, maybe Monday night or Tuesday night again. And if you don't join me for the DJ set, we're gonna have a full on episode of Everything Now tomorrow night. Wednesday, where we'll be doing presentations, so everyone that's here knows ahead of time. We'll be doing presentations, or maybe I think Rocky suggested in the Discord that someone make a presentation. I'm not sure, but we'll be doing class presentations, so join in for that. But yeah, enjoy. I'm excited for more tapes. Awesome. Yeah, I'll be back with more tapes. Thank you guys for joining in. This is really fun. I just hope that I can get my hands on more tapes eventually, because it's gonna run out pretty quick. But I'll also fast forward through the tapes that we've already listened to, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll go live again at 10. But until then, au revoir. I don't know if I should raid someone if I'm going to go live again in 10 minutes, but... That's true. That's true, Death Wish Dina. I could definitely find some records too. The good thing about these tapes though is that people can personally record on them, which is what I like about it. Like that. The last tape we listened to was all personal recording from somebody in Torrance, so that's what I like about them. But you know, maybe we could find some old records too. Raid Polyglopus. Okay. I've heard Aiden talk about this person. My keyboard's all the way up here. Polyglopus. Okay. We're gonna raid Polygloptopus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. We'll raid them. I'll be back in 10 minutes, so come back if you guys want. Yeah, no, Dina, definitely. I could find some obscure old movie stuff and like recordings too, so I'm sure it won't be hard to find. Oh, cool. We're gonna raid Glotopus, and I'll be back to DJ a little bit at 10 o'clock or 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So 10 minutes. All right. Say hi to Polly. Goodbye.